Hello, everybody. Well, I was reading in Second Kings, and to me, that's one of the most. There's a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of disappointment in that book of the Bible because it just seemed like king after king after king was just such a letdown because you would start reading and they'd either be, they would do evil in the eyes of the Lord, or if they would do right in the eyes of the Lord, they wouldn't take down like the high places where people would, worship other gods or things like that. And it was just over and over, and then all the way up until it finally got to Hezekiah. And Hezekiah finally actually did that. He took down all the high places and shut down all the other things where people were worshiping other gods. And he did really good. And then he got really sick, and he was praying to the Lord, and the Lord told him that he would give him 15 more years. Well, during that 15 more years, he had his son that became king next, which his name was Manasseh. Well, you would think that in that 15 years, he knew he was going to die in 15 years. You would think that he would have raised his son Manasseh up to really worship the Lord and run things the way that he did. Because Manasseh ended up taking over when Hezekiah died. Manasseh was only 12 years old. And he completely undid everything that Hezekiah did. They were worshiping other gods and sacrificing their children. I mean, it just went from finally good to right back to as terrible as it could get again. And then his son, Amon, he took over when he was 22. He didn't do any better. And then finally, after that, it finally got to Josiah. And Josiah took over when he was only 8 years old. But the priests found the book of Moses in the temple of the Lord and read it out, and Josiah finally did, everything that Hezekiah did, taking down all the high places and shutting down all the temples and stuff, and just stopping everybody from worshiping other gods and sacrificing their children and all that stuff. But then sadly, once again, his son, Jehoaz, who took over when he was 23, went right back to doing evil in the sight of the Lord. And it's just like, my goodness. And what that really said to me is how important it is to teach your children about the Lord and really raise them up to know the Lord and to live the way the Lord wants you to live. And I felt like I needed to make a video about that because it just really spoke to me of how important it is. Because, Hezekiah could have raised Manasseh up in that 12 years. He knew he was going to die in 15 years before he even gave birth to Manasseh. But he obviously did not raise him up the way he should have. So, it's just so important for us to teach our children about the Lord. And anyway, I hope maybe that might have helped somebody, and I thank you if you're still watching this. And but anyway, y'all have a good one. I love y'all.